today, in the name of the KPFA staff and community, we retook it unconditionally. We retook KPFA because the keys were given to us and because, as we have said all along, it is our station. So since we retook the station, not on Pacifica's terms, but in ours, we will now use it to carry on the struggle against Pacifica. Well, Dr. Berry, we are back in KPFA. By our actions in retaking it, we discredit your entire cynical, desperate campaign to get the press and public on your side. In most parts of this country, if you pick up a piece of fruit and it's rotten to the core, you throw it away. Well, in this part of the country, we're a bit more enlightened. We don't throw it away, we compost it. So here's a humble proposal for this time and place. The Pacifica leadership, and specifically Berry and her supporters, cronies and lackeys, belong in this nation's compost bin.
Thank you all for coming, and for all the support you've given to the struggle for KPFA. I'd like to call this a great victory for KPFA, but every time you have a fight or war, even if you win, it's something less than a victory. We shouldn't have to be fighting for our basic rights, like free speech and access to our own radio station. This should not happen, certainly not in Berkeley. This is a partial and transitory victory. We live in a very special place, but we must work and fight to keep it that way. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance.
This is an absolute beautiful scene out there. A diverse scene of people who are committed, racially diverse, supportive of justice and peace and the pursuit of happiness for all. Pacifica should have known better than to pick Berkeley as its place to abide and abet the right arm of this country.
Only on KPFA could I hear about American imperialism attacking other countries. Only on KPFA could I hear the racist criminal justice system exposed as the system of injustice which it is. Youth must support KPFA because this station gives a voice to our struggle against a system which offers us no future except for unemployment and incarceration.
Brothers and sisters, the Black Radical Congress has followed with dismay and outrage the undermining of radio station KPFA over the past several months by the very people, its governors, charged with guarding the station's noble mission. This week, the BRC's National Coordinating Committee sadly but adamantly came to the conclusion that the current crisis can only move toward resolution by the resignation of Pacifica Foundation's Board President, Mary Frances Berry. Are you down for that?
We are here to support free speech and KPFA on behalf of the 1.7 million workers of the AFL-CIO in California. We understand the necessity and the basic need for free speech. Without free speech, we cannot, as a labor movement, organize. We cannot do what we need to do to make this society a better place for everyone to live in.
I'm here because just before this rally, to show you how worldwide our struggle is recognized, we got the following email. Reads, your struggle to preserve your autonomy in the growing conflict with your owner has revealed an unexpected similarity between the media in your country and our country, where freedom of speech is being stifled in a similar manner. Journalists are being persecuted and intimidated, and progressive radio stations are prevented from operating. We condemn in the strictest terms the repression and exertion of force against Pacifica workers and your listeners. Long live freedom of speech and down with media repression, which knows no ideological or national boundaries, either in Berkeley or in Belgrade.
We collectively have always been a strident voice for those things which represent injustice and inappropriateness in this nation. The board of KPFA and those who run the Pacifica Foundation and made this horrible decision to shut the workers out. There is no question what we should do. Our voices must be heard.
I love KPFA for the same reason that I love the labor movement. Because what both the labor movement, when it's in good shape, does is what KPFA does. That is, allow people like ourselves who don't run corporations, who are not independently wealthy, who don't have politicians at the end of our hand dangling from our hands, to speak and then to act. That is critical for our survival as a society.
Are we going to win
community.
this struggle for KPFA? All right then. Then it's time that we also think about what's going to happen after this radio revolution. Because as we finish this first stage of kicking Pacifica's ass, we have to think about how to make KPFA even more powerful in the future. And that means we have to figure out how to make KPFA as important to single mothers on welfare in inner cities as it is to married moms in the suburbs. We have to make KPFA as important to day laborers and service workers and people working up in McDonald's as it is to intellectuals and academics. We have to have as many of our sisters and brothers who are locked up in prisons and jails all throughout California listening to this station, represented by this station, and have our interests served by this station. If we can do that, we can save KPFA, we can make it new and keep it for generations to come, and we can sharpen KPFA as a weapon in the struggle for revolution. Power to the people. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am here to express the support of the Arab and Muslim communities in this area for KPFA and for its struggle to remain free. This radio station has often been the only radio station, the only media outlet in this area that has given underrepresented and misrepresented communities a voice. When the U.S. bombs Iraq, or when they destroy a medicine factory in the Sudan, mainstream media usually whips itself into a frenzy of support for the Pentagon. It's usually KPFA that comes in and sheds the light on the suffering and the injustice. It's usually KPFA that tells you about the Iraqi children who are dying because they don't have clean water to drink. It's usually KPFA that tells you about the Palestinian families whose homes are being destroyed because they dare speak for basic human rights.
In the struggle for freedom, no one being is alone. We will continue to join our bodies, our minds, hearts, spirit, and voices. We are the water wearing away at the stone. In the face of their darkness, oppression, fear, and violence, we come together bringing love, courage, commitment, and the light of truth that will shine forever. We stand in solidarity for KPFA. Together, we are all transforming our world.
The revolutionary worker would first like to salute the staff, the volunteers, the community, everybody who's been part of this very important struggle. We know that all our demands haven't been won. We know that the struggle is going to continue. We know that Pacifica is still scheming against KPFA. And beyond that, we know that as long as we live in an imperialist system, and until that system is overthrown and turned right side up through revolution, we're going to have to deal with these attacks on our people and our institutions. But we've also got to understand that we knocked those suckers at Pacifica back on their heels. And we showed them to be the lying, reactionary, double-dealing hypocrites to everybody in this country. And they've been stung and they've been hurt.
Never again will we let our guards down and begin to believe in the nature of this society.
Mumia like KPFA gives a voice to the voiceless. And Mumia like KPFA is under attack by the forces of oppression who want there to be no voice of opposition to their injustice.
We need to continue this struggle. Some people think that walking back into that building is the end of it. It's the beginning of it.
voice really counts. Anybody that wants to shut us down, we're going to make sure that they get a foot in their ass and that they never ever think about shutting KPFA down.